And so I thank you for joining this informational session about World Youth Day 2023 with the Archdiocese of New Orleans. For recording purposes, I am James Behan. I'm the Associate Director for Young Adult Ministry and Marriage and Family Life here in the Archdiocese of New Orleans. I am very excited to be part of the team that is leading the pilgrimage from here in New Orleans to Lisbon, Portugal for World Youth Day 2023. I am not only trying to put this together in my archdiocesan role, but I am also, we're going to talk about what World Youth Day is. We're going to talk about Lisbon 2023. We're going to talk about what a pilgrimage means, and we're going to talk about what I like to think of as the 5 W's and the how. We'll give you the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Again, my role is not just as the Associate Director for Young Adult Ministry of trying to get young adults together to gather. I'm trying to get pilgrims like yourselves to be a part of this World Youth Day experience because I've experienced it not once, not twice, but 3 times so far, as you can see, in Toronto in World Youth Day 2002, which was St. John Paul II's last World Youth Day, as a student 20 years ago. And it was life-changing and vocation affirming. I wouldn't be here looking into a camera and telling you all about coming and joining me in World Youth Day 2023 if I hadn't gone with my college group 20 years ago in Toronto. I led a college group in World Youth Day 2008 in Sydney, Australia, and I brought my parish's group to Madrid, Spain in 2011. So I've gone to 3 different continents, and I know from personal experience that the World Youth Day experience, the international gatherings, are gorgeous. They are once in a lifetime opportunities, and some of us get the opportunity to go a few more times than just once. But it is certainly something that I always encourage people are thinking about doing to consider doing and making it happen. And when we want to talk about what World Youth Day is altogether, what it is it's an annual global celebration of the young Catholic Church. I feel the importance of making a distinction of what youth is, because the world sees youth differently than our United States Church does. So the youth gathering will generally focus on folks between the ages of 16 to 29. And then here in the United States, we see youth as high school, 12 to 18. But in our context with the Archdiocese of New Orleans, we're focusing on a young adult pilgrimage. So that means we're reaching out to people who are going to be 18 years of age to 39. We'll probably have some young at heart as well that join us too. But just this global celebration of a young Catholic Church that was founded in 1984 by St. John Paul II. He wanted to gather the youth together as part of his papacy, gathering youth from around the world together so that he could meet with them, he could pray with them, he could teach them about the faith, and that most importantly, the young people of the world could see each other and pray with each other and be inspired by each other. Generally, this is an annual celebration that takes place in our church. And then there are these international gatherings that happen every 2 or 3 years. This particular gathering that I'm talking about to you and hoping that you'll be able to join us with is the 17th international gathering. And it's the only one that wasn't 2 or 3 years apart. It was 4. There's a little thing called COVID and the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic that everybody wanted to make sure was important that we were clear of before we moved on to World Youth Day 2023 now. And we're actually going to be ready to go like in a month or so with previous plans. But now it's World Youth Day 2023. So our destination is Lisbon, Portugal. And Lisbon, Portugal is Portugal's capital city. There's some highlights that we'll see on the tour. We're talking about Belém Tower. You'll see the Hieronymus Monastery, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And we are going to make sure everybody's muted. We're also going to see, if we have a chance on that first day, the St. Anthony of Padua Church. And then the big southern point that not only are we going to Lisbon, Portugal, but we're also going to be going to see the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima. And I'm going to be there, as well as Adrian Jackson, our director of the CYO Youth and Young Adult Ministry Office. And joining us also is going to be Father Jeremy Lambert of the Legionaries of Christ. He's going to be our chaplain and our spiritual director on this pilgrimage. So it's going to be very exciting to see that. We're going to also see places like potentially the Lisbon Cathedral of Santa Maria Major, climb the hills of Alfama or the Barro Alto neighborhoods, visit Commerce Square, get to taste the sights and the sounds of this city of Portugal, the capital city of World Youth Day. And they tend to pick countries and cities that are places that can accommodate a large groups of people, but also places that need a shot in the arm, spiritually speaking. So our presence going to the pilgrimage inspires and motivates the local church to take that message of the good news that's shared from people around the world into the streets and into the places that they live. Every World Youth Day has a theme, and in this particular World Youth Day for 2023, as well as this year's World Youth Day, the theme is going to be that Mary arose and went with haste, which is taken from Luke's first chapter of his gospel. It follows the World Youth Day theme from the last time we gathered as an international group, where, behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done to me according to your will. So we have this time where Mary says yes to the angel telling her that she's going to conceive and bear a son. And the next thing she does is this: Mary arose and went with haste. It's the start of the visitation account. It's also the third World Youth Day theme that deals with arising. For Pope Francis, who selects these themes, this idea of arising, of getting up and going and doing, is so important. We think about Mary, who was a youth at the time. She got up, arose, and quickly went on a journey. Because of her faith in God, because of her charitable spirit and nature, and because of her missionary desire to bring Jesus Christ, who is forming inside of her, to the world. Pope Francis, in his messages, talk about may young people's evangelization be active and missionary. But this is how they will recognize and witness the presence of the living Christ. And in the Christus Vivit, which is this gorgeous document, Pope Francis's love letter to us, to youth and young adults, he says, where does Jesus send us? There are no borders, no limits. He sends us everywhere. The gospel is for everyone, not for some. So we're going to take the time during these days of the World Youth Day celebration to arise, go on a journey quickly, 13 months of planning wise, and enter into encountering others and going and encountering Jesus, and then bringing that back here to New Orleans and to the other places that the other people that we meet and encounter. And so we go on pilgrimage. I don't know if you've gone on a pilgrimage before in the past. I've gone on a few. And we believe in this notion as a Catholic people that we are a pilgrim people. There's that song that talks about it, that this earthly life of ours is just a journey between our origin and our heavenly destination as baptized practicing Catholics, or baptized Catholic Christians. And over history, pilgrims have traveled to pursue new faith endeavors and to deepen their relationship with God. Most notably, we think of, as Americans, we think of Thanksgiving, of the pilgrim with the little buckle hat and the buckle shoes. Perhaps you know people who have made the Camino, the spiritual pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. We take trips and we journey. Pilgrimage it's a time of giving of time and self to do something different. It's a time of sacrificing some comforts to grow through the journey. But most importantly, the goal of a pilgrimage is to arrive at a new place in your life and relationship with God. You start heading into an airport. You make this journey, whether it's over hundreds of miles like the Camino, whether it's to Lourdes to bathe in the waters, whether it's to Fatima to pray at the shrine, whether it's to Guadalupe to pray at the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We have this spiritual experience, hopefully. We allow God to speak with us. And then when we return on the plane, and come back here to New Orleans, we hopefully are at a spot where we arrive at a new place in our lives and our relationship with God. Hopefully, maybe if we've been having questions, that time allows us to the space to sit and reflect and pray and to hear God's voice, or to have the conversation that changes our lives with the people in our group or the people we encounter through who we travel with. Pilgrimage, it's not easy. This World Youth Day, yes, there's a traveling experience to it. We're going to get to see things that perhaps we've never seen before, but a pilgrimage is never meant to be easy. That being said, as I explain the pilgrimage that we're trying to offer you, the young adults of the Archdiocese of New Orleans, just know that there's going to be some challenges, but we're not trying to make it punishing or brutal. We're going to be sleeping in 3-star hotels because well-rested pilgrims equal prayerful pilgrims. Some people who come to World Youth Days wind up sleeping on gyms of Catholic schools, or they go to hostels, or they sleep in houses of people from around Lisbon who are opening their doors to yourself. We're going to be in a spot where we're all together and relatively well taken care of, so that when we make our sacrifice of time and effort and walking in pilgrimage, that we have a place where we can nourish ourselves. So that being said, I want to talk about the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the World Youth Day Nolo Catholic pilgrimage. So who can attend? We're inviting all young adults associated with the Archdiocese of New Orleans to join us. That means anybody who's going to turn 18 years of age or older as of July 22nd, 2023, the week before we leave. And there'll likely be some young at heart, so people who maybe are a little older than 39 on the pilgrimage with us, but it's important that folks join us to be a part of that. Who will we be working with? We are going to work with Verso Ministries, and Verso will be arranging our flights, our accommodation, as well as our World Youth Day specific logistics. Verso, I've gotten to know through my experiences with young adult ministry, and they are very young adult focused. It's a pilgrimage company where the founder of it was a former campus minister at the University of Notre Dame as well, and sought to offer these pilgrimage experiences for specifically young adults to nourish their faith by traveling and taking the time to see where God's present in their lives. So that's the who, the what, and the where. What are you doing there? Well, it's not just traveling to Lisbon. Okay? It's representing yourself. It's representing the church or the parish you attend. It's also representing us, the Archdiocese of New Orleans, with the global Catholic Church in Lisbon. And when is it? So here's the important date. We're talking that we're going to depart from New Orleans. Our plan is to depart on Saturday, July 29th, 2023. So believe it or not, we're recording this on June 29th, 2022, 13 months away from right now. We will be standing or sitting in an airplane chair on our way to Lisbon. And the plan is to return on Monday, August 7th, 2023. So for those of you who are in school, or those of you who are teachers, I want to point out these dates. One, hopefully it doesn't prevent you from joining us because of your class schedule or your teaching responsibilities. I would say that if you are a teacher and want to go on World Youth Day, start the conversation with your administrators, with your principals and supervisors now, to see what accommodations can be made for you so that you can go on this trip and then be back in time for school, or maybe miss a couple of the first days of school as well. So it's in terms of, we don't set the dates, the Global World Youth Day Commission does. They don't consider the New Orleans school schedule all the time, but if you are a teacher, I really hope and pray that you discern that if this is something you can do, that you can find a way to make it work. Now, very quickly, the rundown of what's going to happen. You would fly out with us on Saturday, July 29th. We'd land in Lisbon on Sunday, July 30th. We tour the city, have an opening dinner, get ourselves ready. On Monday, July 31st, 2023, we would take that one-day side pilgrimage to Fatima. On Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, that's when the World Youth Day celebration begins, with an opening mass that's generally held by the hosting archbishop. So the patriarch or the archbishop of Lisbon would be leading that global mass. It's one of the first times perhaps that you'll experience an international gathering of the Eucharist. And there is something gorgeous and beautiful about praying, even if our languages are different, when we pray holy, 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 or we pray the creed together, most of the time in Latin. We brush up on our Portuguese. We, as a global church, stand up at the same time, know when to give the sign of peace, know to say amen when we receive the body and blood of Christ. There's something so gorgeous about it. That takes place on Tuesday, August 1st. Wednesday, August 2nd through Friday, August 4th, the World Youth Day celebrations take place. So we would have daily catechesis where we go to a spot. Since there'll probably be so many English people, it might be English-speaking pilgrims. It would be potentially going to like a basketball stadium or a sports arena or a very big school auditorium or college auditorium where they would have these English catechesis sessions, breaking open the theme of World Youth Day and bringing it to you and to pray with it, to go to the World Youth Day events that are taking place all around, to take place at the Reconciliation Park. There's always like a Reconciliation Park where thousands of priests, hundreds, thousands of priests are there to hear confession. And it's just gorgeous and beautiful to receive God's mercy there at the Reconciliation Park. On the Thursday of the World Youth Day week, that's when the Pope arrives. That's when Pope Francis would be there riding around his little Pope mobile. And it's exciting to see and welcome and to be taught by the Holy Father. Generally in the week of the World Youth Day celebrations, there's a Stations of the Cross that takes place. We may or may not do that. We may just pray it together because we would be preparing for the Saturday Vigil. The Saturday Vigil is a pilgrimage walk from wherever we'll be staying to the site of World Youth Day itself, the World Youth Day. So it'll be pilgrimaging in the morning, taking a walk together, hiking almost, if you will. Generally, it's like an airfield or a sports arena that can accommodate really close to 1 million people, if not more, which is generally what a World Youth Day gets. So we'll make a pilgrimage walk to that site. We kind of hang out. It's like going to Jazz Fest. You hang out all day, you pray together, you see musicians perform, and then in the evening, Pope Francis joins us to pray with us, to pray the vigil. More often than not, there's a Eucharistic adoration component to it. So that's something gorgeous of being able to pray with the Eucharist, to adore the Eucharist along with the Holy Father. And then we hang out at that spot overnight. We pray and cross our fingers that there's no rain, because then on Sunday, August 6th, 2023, normally would be the Feast of the Transfiguration, but on this particular Sunday, it's going to be World Youth Day, where there would be a global Mass with Pope Francis as the celebrant. After the Mass is done, we get back to our hotel, wash off if we're a little dusty and stinky, and then have a closing dinner together as a World Youth Day NOLA Catholic Young Adult group. And then on Monday, August 7th, 2023, we would take that trip back home. Depending on when we leave, there's a good chance we may get home pretty late, or we may get home not too far from when we leave. It looks like, from what I had been researching, it's about an 11-hour flight from New Orleans to Lisbon, because there will be some sort of transfer in some way, shape, or form. And we'll be flexible to the ways that they get us to and from the place. So that's our when. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty. I'm sure the questions that you really want to know is the how. How much is it? How am I going to pay for it? How do we do this? For pilgrims of the Archdiocese of New Orleans, young adult pilgrimage to World Youth Day 2023 in Lisbon, the price set by Verso Ministries is $3,899 per pilgrim. It may seem very steep. It may seem like a lot of money, and especially as our economy continues to be unsteady. We've done the research, and this is just about the cheapest one that's available. It is the cheapest one that's available, and that has the best options for you as pilgrims and for us as the Archdiocesan team that's putting it together. We ask for you to give us a $300 non-refundable deposit by August 1st of 2023, and then the balance to be paid in full by April 1st, 2023. Sorry, August 1st, 2022, we need a deposit by. Apologize. August 1st, 2022, we need a deposit. The balance needs to be paid in full by April 1st, 2023. This covers round trip airfare, covers transportation once we get to Lisbon, or if we wind up, say, landing in Madrid and needing to take a 3-hour bus ride, they'll cover that. Transportation during World Youth Day events and transportation to Fatima as well. Ground transportation is covered. Double occupancy hotel with a private bath. You don't have to share a bathroom with a ton of people. If you want to have a single room, there is an additional charge. That's up to you. You'll get 22 out of your 30 meals for the 10 days that we'll be out. The registration fees and events and the World Youth Day backpack are all covered with that. Having a pilgrimage director and tour guide for all of our organized activities. Now, depending on the size of our group, we right now have a group of 15 contracted. If more join, we most likely will be joining with another diocese, hopefully another American diocese. There are a few of them that are working through Verso and their European tour colleagues. And we also have, as I mentioned, Father Jeremy Lambert is going to be our priest as chaplain and spiritual director. So that's what this $38.99 gets you. Some things to think about of what this price does not cover if you have excess or overweight baggage fees. So if you have too much money, if you have too much that you're packing, you're responsible for paying it. If you bring too much home, that's on you. If the fuel charges change, that isn't covered. We'll have a conversation about that later on. Your personal items like gratuities, money for laundry and money for phones, that's on you. In terms of you making sure that you have a passport, we are not paying for your passport. You are responsible for that. Generally, from what I understand, you should have 6 months after you're going on a trip. That's when your passport should be valid. So we're going to be flying and traveling in August of 2023. So you should have a passport that's valid through February 2024. Also, if you are not a citizen of America, if you are a permanent resident, you will have to work with us and with Verso Ministries in terms of getting the appropriate documentation that you need to travel to Portugal, because we would not want this to be a one-way trip to Lisbon. This $38.99 doesn't cover travel interruption or cancellation insurance. We highly recommend that you purchase it. It'll be available at a separate time. International medical insurance is not covered too, and anything that's not explicitly listed as included in the package before. So this is what it covers, and what it doesn't cover is there. We suggest, again, this $300 deposit by August 1st, 2022. If you have the means of paying it all off at once, God bless, and thank you for doing that. Makes it a whole lot easier. If you need to work on it, we would encourage you or suggest that you pay monthly $450 from September of 2022 through March of 2023. And then that would leave you with a $449 balance on April 1st, which again, we need all of that money paid, because if not, we would not want to have not have you with us, but there's a very good chance that we would have to not have you join us. And in terms of fundraising, as an Archdiocesan team group, we don't have the plans to do a widespread fundraising. So you are responsible for the fundraising. Now's the time to know about it. It's pretty standard to do fundraising. And some thoughts I have are, you have a few holidays that you could ask as gifts. Can you help me towards going to World Youth Day in Lisbon for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, if you got somebody who's that generous, for your birthday, for any major event that's coming up. If you're graduating, this could be a great way to help chip in towards this. This gives you, we have about 13 months before we fly out, about 9 or 10 months before the money's due. Gives you ample time to talk with your pastor to show how this is how I'm going to be able to use this time here to fill me up spiritually and help the parish out. So is there a way that you can work with me, that I could meet with, or if there's more than one of you from the parish that join you, can we do a collection, a free will collection one of the Sundays, and I'll be at all the masses, or all the groups of this parish will be there at all the masses, and that'll help cut down on the cost of the pilgrimage for you or for the other members. You do it, you all together, split the cost. That's what I would suggest. And once you sign up with us, Versa Ministries also has a fundraising kit to help you get some ideas about how to make this affordable for you. There we are. So the last thing is why. Why should I go on World Youth Day? I hope that from my own personal experience, from seeing the sites, from knowing what's available and what's going to happen, you are already stoked and excited about this. But here are my top five reasons why you should go to World Youth Day 2023. One, if you're thinking about it, find a way to go, because it really is. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It is the ability to see the church alive around the world. We maybe have a very narrow view living in New Orleans, living in the United States. It's not the easiest time to be a United States Catholic with all the victories, but some challenges. This is a way to see the world alive. Sometimes I like to explain the World Youth Day as it is like going to Jazz Fest. It's like going to the Olympics. It's like going to church and the Quidditch World Cup all in one. To walk along the streets and see everybody waving their flags, but also when it comes time to it, we are one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church that gathers together. This is perhaps a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to attend Mass, to be taught, and to possibly see the Pope, depending on where we stand. It's pretty cool to be alongside the guardrails and see that little Pope mobile motor by and have the Pope do his waving and blessing and all. Lastly, number 4, you come for Lisbon and stay for Fatima. If you've ever been interested about joining or going to Fatima for a pilgrimage, please consider joining us for that. And then lastly, to hang with us. We're cool guys and gals, a group of NOLA Catholic young adults who are like you, that want to have the gospel of Jesus Christ be more present in their lives, and have this catalyst that is a World Youth Day experience. As I said before, maybe be that thing that helps us to be in the right spot for God to inform us or hint us where we should be, help us in our discernment of life, of our vocation, of our calls to love through marriage, or other avenues. It's really just a great opportunity to be with good people who want to enjoy each other's company, pray together, walk together, journey together, have these memories that we share for a lifetime. Anytime I talk with my World Youth Day buddies from 2002, 2008, and 2011, we have this experience of going through the streets of these international cities and being disciples, of being salt of the earth and light of the world, of being like the apostles sent into the world, and firm in the faith, the themes of those prior World Youth Days. So if you have any more information, you can talk with me. Again, I'm James Behan. I can be reached here at 504-861-6243. That is my marriage and family lifeline. You can email me at yam@arch-no.org, yam@arch-no.org. And the other best way to reach me is at nolacatholic.org/WYD2023. That's our Archdiocesan page that talks about this, many of the things that I've talked about here. So I hope that you consider joining us, and thank you for taking this time, and please reach out to me. Best way would be through the email or the website. So with that, I'm going to say thank you.